watching iRacing on the Ghostfire Media Network.
This tree is going to look great here.
Did you call 811 to protect your underground utilities?
I can't wait to see these roses come up.
Dig, dig, dig! Wait, we forgot to call 811.
Before you dig, make sure you can. Call 811 to know what's below. It's up to all of us to protect the ones we love.
Transervice has been a leader in the transportation and fleet maintenance industry for over 50 years. If you're a professional driver or technician looking for opportunities to be the best and work with the best, then we want you working at Transervice. Our current workforce includes over 1,000 drivers and technicians, managing over 24,000 pieces of equipment in over 120 regional and local facilities across North America and Puerto Rico, and we're getting larger all the time. Our corporate philosophy of trust, respect, and honesty has led to employees that have spent their entire career with Transervice. As with our employees, we have many customer relationships exceeding 20 years. You'll have the opportunity to learn and grow professionally in an environment that values and rewards excellence, with a variety of perks such as education support, recognition awards, career advancement opportunities, and more. A great work-life balance, a company built on values, recognition, and rewards for excellence. While our competitors offer jobs, Transervice offers you a career, not just a job. Contact us today.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting night of the Sim500 Transervice Truck Series here on the Ghostfire Media Network. I'm Rady Pepper alongside my good friend Nick Adams. Nick, what is happening, baby?
Hello, everybody! Welcome to Pocono! We're in the hills! Not just that. Are you guys ready? Randy, are you ready?
I'm ready.
It's playoff time!
Playoffs.
The playoffs are here. It's time to go racing. I'm excited. I hope you guys all are.
I know I am. I'm really excited.
Are you? Are you really, really excited? Because I'm really excited.
I'm excited because I want to see exactly if anyone was withholding anything the last few races. I want to see if somebody like, Mike Kelly or Derek Myers or Tyler Dalton, Bentley Glazer, one of these guys that has run well, but has not given it like we've seen them in the past. I want to see these guys turn it up to 110 and just come out and give everybody else a little bit of their own medicine. You know what I'm saying?
Do you? You sure?
Yeah.
You sure about
Yeah,
that?
I do. Yeah, I want to see something exciting out of these guys. I mean, I want to see them do what Pedro Mujica does. You know, Pedro brings it every week, and I want to see some of these other guys bring it the same way. I want Scott Simley to come and bring it this week.
You want Scott Simley to come and bring it?
Yeah, I want him to bring it.
Well,
I don't want
Randy,
these guys to hold back.
I think you're in for a sweet surprise. And everybody out there, it's kind of shocking. It took me forever to learn how to use this, but are you guys ready? Boom.
Boom, what?
There are our 18 drivers in the playoffs. Our 18 wonderful drivers in the playoffs this year. You have Richard Beasley, Josh Parker in the 81, Tyler Dalton in the 19, Scott Simley in the 12, Justin Fuller, defending series champion Tommy Ryan, E.J. O'Rourke, the favorite for most of the year, Daniel Falkingham, Trey Eidson, who won Daytona, won 3 other races as well this season, Bentley Glazier in the 8 team, Hamish Gallagher, our hero in the middle of the season that Texas comes across the line as the best finish we have all year. Pedro Mujica in the 58, peaking at the right time. Derek Myers in the 23, Chad Coleman in the 38, Mike Kelly in the 2, Joey Gattina in the 14, Ryan Howard in the 33, and Richard Swavely in the 32. Randy, that's our 18 drivers in the playoffs. Who do you have out of that list as your favorite to get to the final 6?
Okay, well, other than Daniel Falkingham, because we know he's going to bring it. Out of these other guys, I'm going to go. I'm going to go Pedro Mujica.
You're going to go Pedro Mujica. I'm going to throw it out there. The defending series champion Tommy Ryan's going to get hot, and he's going to the final 6.
I can't argue with that. I mean, I just can't argue with that. I mean, we've got some guys who we know Fuller's going to be tough. Tyler Dalton should be pretty tough. I don't imagine him laying back too much because it is go time. But we'll see.
It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Beginning in the round of... Hold on. I want to be correct when I say this. Beginning in the round of 12, you'll have banners to distinguish these drivers on the track as well as colored spoilers. But for the first round, for the round of 18, on our ticker, here on the left-hand side of your screen, as has become a staple of this Wednesday Night Truck Series, you will see all of your playoff drivers with green and white numbers. Now, as we get closer and as we end tonight and we go into next week, anybody under 12th in the playoffs will be yellow. As we go into the final race of the round of 18, in 3 weeks' time, because we have next week off, in 3 weeks' time at Auto Club Speedway, when we go there for the elimination race in the round of 18, there'll be guys in red. There could be guys in red after tonight, depending on how their evening goes. Unlike the rest of the regular season here in the Sim500 Transervice Truck Series, in the playoffs, there are no halfway points. It's bonus points. It's about leading those laps, leading those most laps, getting yourself up front, making sure you're the guy to be the best on track. And, most importantly, which I think is going to fall right into the regular season champion's hands, right here on your screen, the regular season champion, Daniel Falkingham. Consistency is going to be key to getting yourself out of these rounds and staying out of trouble. Randy, in the regular season, we saw a lot of guys have a lot of issues staying out of other people's messes. And that's going to segue perfectly into my thoughts on this driver. If I can get on this driver right here, the number 2, Mike Kelly. Mike Kelly in our winter series, most consistent guy out there.
Absolutely.
The guy we thought was going to take it to Falkenham when we got here to the Truck Series. Mike Kelly has been unlucky, and he hasn't been inconsistent because of a lack of talent. He's been inconsistent because he's gotten into other people's messes.
Yeah, it just seems like trouble has found him every time.
Very much so. If he's going to get himself out of the round of 18, into the round of 12, and then further into the round of 6, he's going to have to stay out of people's messes. Now, what's great about the Transervice Truck Series here is that the schedule is so diverse. Ignore that for a minute, folks. We're transitioning to qualifying. We'll get you a nice, beautiful. We'll get you a beautiful look here in a second. But the 3 tracks in the round of 18: Pocono, Bristol, Auto Club. 3 totally different tracks. You got a triangle, a half-mile craziness, and then a 2-mile, almost super speedway, not super speedway. With these trucks, it might drive like Talladega and Daytona. We're not sure yet. We'll keep an eye on that. We haven't been to a track like our friends out there in Auto Club all season. Maybe closest thing we could say would be when we went to Atlanta. But the 3 different tracks that we go to in the round of 18, then the round of 12, you go Talladega, Richmond, Chicagoland. Another 3 different type of racetracks. It's not about being good at one type of track here in these playoffs. It's about being consistent.
Yeah, you have to be consistent if you're going to make it all the way. I mean, you can't afford to blow any of these races. You've got to be consistent in every one of them. If you want to make it to the next round, you have to be there at the end.
It's going, Randy, consistency, it's something they preach in the regular season in NASCAR. You have to be consistent if you don't win. And a lot of these guys got into the playoffs by being consistent and not winning. But there's also these guys who are extremely, extremely consistent. Like, we look at Chad Coleman, extremely consistent. We look at Bentley Glazier, Pedro Mojica, all extremely consistent drivers. Hamish Gallagher, extremely consistent. Tyler Dalton, Justin Fuller, all these guys. As we take a look at Brian Wertman down the short chute between the tunnel turn and turn 3. What turn 4 here at Pocono? Don't say turn 4, you'll get lashed. On the exit of turn 3, down the long front straightaway. Or maybe the back straightaway. It really depends on what you call this part of a triangle. Brian Wertman goes slowest as Pedro Mojica, provisional pole, our first playoff driver to really make a statement. Take a look, Chad Coleman just completed his first lap. He's going to jump to 3rd. Bentley Glazier to 2nd. Tyler Dalton provisionally to 4th. Hamish Gallagher to 6th. Derek Myers begins his first lap. Pedro Mojica believes that might be enough. Richard Beasley in the Tide Ride comes out of turn 3 to begin his first lap here in qualifying. We'll take a look at Richard Swavely, who exits turn 3 to begin. You know what? It might help if I do this. 2 seconds, folks. We'll have updated paint schemes in a moment.
Let's talk about Richard Swavely here for a second while you're doing that. Here's a guy that fought tooth and nail to get where he's at right now. Last week, he did a tremendous driving, just tremendous driving, just to make it to where he's in these playoffs. He fought with 2 other drivers, and he was the one that came out on top, so we'll have to watch him through these next 3 races to see if he can make it to the next round. Will he have to fight tooth and nail for that? We'll see.
There he is.
Bingo.
There's the new paint scheme.
Looking better.
Beautiful paint scheme on the 32 this week as well. That's how I knew, because I knew he had a new scheme, so I knew that it wasn't working. Beautiful paint scheme on the 32, though.
New sponsor on the car, or new on the truck, because he's in the playoffs. He wants to show it off.
Hey, you get to the playoffs, that's where the real money is. That's where the sponsors start coming hot and heavy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Daniel Falkenham threw a 54.99 up. Randy, look who's qualifying now that we're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Mike Kelly out of turn 3 for his first, for the end of his second lap here. His first lap was a disqualification on his first lap. Second lap's going to be 7th fastest. Look at the top 7, Randy. All playoff drivers. Brian Macklin sits in 8th. He's one of those guys that shocked me when he wasn't in the playoffs.
Still shocking that he's not in the playoffs.
Richard Beasley in the Tide Ride trying to increase on his second lap here. He will bring
Well,
himself up to
oh, he did.
13th. A good
Wow.
improvement to a 55.41.
Usually you don't see that out of Pocono. Usually your first lap is the fastest, but he's proved everybody wrong with that one.
You see Derek Myers through the tunnel turn there. We'll go on board the number 23. One of my playoff favorites. I believe Derek's going to go far here in these playoffs. I think we might see him all the way to the end of qualifying.
And that's it. Wham bam. Done.
We might see him all the way to the round of 12, I believe. I don't think he's going to get through to the round of 6. Me and Randy Pepper will do our playoff predictions.
I almost think we should do think of the
We're
four
gonna-
guys that we think won't make it to the next round.
We're going to do our playoff predictions when we come back right after this short 30-second commercial break.
Transervice has been a leader in the transport.
If recent storms have caused damage to your property, contact 811 before you begin your cleanup. Buried utilities around uprooted trees can make a bad situation worse if those lines are not located before digging. Electric, natural gas, and internet lines are everywhere, and knowing where they are is the safest way to start any digging project. Call North Carolina 811 by dialing 811 or by using single address ticket on nc811.org or the NC811 app.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here in the Ghostfire Media Network. That was our quick 30-second warm-up break. We come in here to grid Randy Pepper. Whilst you think of your 6 drivers you don't think are going to get through to the second round of the playoffs, and the reason we're doing this, folks, is because this might give people a little bit of a pat on the back here to get themselves going and get themselves into the second round of the playoffs. We want to see the consistency from these guys. We want to see the best we can get out of them. But here are my 6 picks for who's not going to get through to the second round of the playoffs. Josh Parker's missing tonight's event. Easy check mark for me. I don't think he'll be in the second round, missing the first race of the playoffs. Josh Parker not making the first race of the playoffs, to me, says I don't think you're going to get through because I don't think you're going to be able to get enough points with missing that first race unless you win the next 2. And then it gets a little hard to choose. I don't want to say anybody's not going to get through because I don't want to put that on them. But if I'm forced to choose, I think you'll see the 32 exit here in the first round. I think you'll see the 18 exit in the first round. That is the one that I think is going to surprise people when I say I think the 18 doesn't get through. I also think the 22 won't get through. That's 3. Unfortunately, I don't think the Tide Ride gets out of the first round of the playoffs. There's just too much talent inside these playoffs for you to really be fair. And then I'm not going to say my 6th and final pick, but I'll say my 5th pick. I think my 5th pick is going to be the 14 of Joey Gattina. I think he's going to get caught up in somebody's mess like he has most of the season. I think it's going to end up causing him not to get through. But I'll leave you my 6th pick until next week when I shock the world again with another choice.
All right, well, you're pretty much exactly what I was going to say. Parker, Beasley. I'm going to say Simley. I'm going to leave Bentley in there. I'm going to take Swavely. And I'm going to go with Howard. And then I'll leave my last one next week.
All right, well, we'll get you our 6th pick next week. But now our official grid here for the first race of the 2022 playoffs, starting why is this not at the front of the grid? Starting on the pole, Pedro Mojica in 2nd, Daniel Fockingham, 3rd, Bentley Glazier, 4th, Ryan Howard, 5th, Tyler Dalton, 6th, Chad Coleman, 7th, Mike Kelly. The top 7. 9 out of your top 10 all playoff drivers. Brian Macklin in 8th, Richard Swavely in 9th, Hamish Gallagher 10th. Back at 11th, you're going to have Glenn Campbell, 12th, Randy Yoakum. 13th, going to be Richard Beasley. 14th, Mike Montesi. 15th, Dwight Beverly. 16th, Stoney Benfield. 17th, Ron Holyfield. 18th, Charles Woods. Back in 19th is going to be Scott Simley. 20th, John Higman Jr. 21st, Brian Wertman. 22nd, Tanner Speakman. 23rd, Justin Fuller. 24th, Derek Myers. 25th, Joey Gattina. 26th, John Mustian. 27th, Steve Herring. 28th, going to be Ed Burrell. 29th, Brian Wertman. And away we go as the 2022 playoffs begin here at Pocono.
As they make their way down into turn number 1, Mojica down on the inside. Falkingham on the outside. They're 2x2 behind them. And Mojica getting just a little bit of an advantage over Falkingham. Falkingham will have to tuck in behind him. Work the draft down the back straightaway into turn number 2. The troublesome turn number 2 as they make their way down into that right now. They'll slide to the bottom of the track, try to make it through cleanly. Some of these trucks will be 2x2, and sometimes it will be calamity when they're 2x2. Mojica pulls out to a 1-2-3 car length lead or truck length lead over Falkingham. It's Falkingham with Howard stalking him right behind him. And then Glazer and Coleman lined up in the top 5 as they go to complete lap number 1 is going to be Pedro Mojica.
Pedro Mojica leads the first lap of the 2022 playoffs. He gets the all-important first bonus point. Now we look at Daniel Falkingham. He sits in second, Ryan Howard in third. Behind them, Chad Coleman gets to the inside of the 18 of Bentley Glazer, who's now stuck on the outside down the short chute between turns 1 and 2. As we go down to the tunnel turn for the second time this evening, we'll take a look at it here as we'll have trucks side by side through the tunnel turn. For the second time this evening, behind them, you see Tyler Dalton on the outside, Brian Macklin through the tunnel turn. Brian Macklin cannot keep that truck on the outside. Tyler Dalton's going to slide up into 6th. Pedro Mojica being pulled back in by Daniel Falkingham as we head off into 3 and 4 here. Keep an eye on this as we come down the front stretch. You're going to see guys go up and down, left and right, all night long down this front stretch when there's a guy behind him trying to break that draft. But as we complete lap number 2, Pedro Mojica continues to lead.
Mojica now looking out his back mirror, or out of his mirror, out the back end of his truck as he sees a 39 getting very close to the back bumper of that 58. The 58 just leading by 1 car length over the Falkingham. Falkingham is being stalked by that 33 still. And one truck steps out of line. It looks like Bentley Glazer looking to try to make some moves in that rolling truck. He dives to the inside, going to try to take third away from Howard. He will get around. So Glazer will move up 1 position as we see our leader making his way, still being stalked by 1 truck length from the 39 of Falkingham. Falkingham sitting behind him. Then Falkingham now getting stalked by the 18 of Bentley Glazer. Trying to roll in and on down the straightaway as Mojica still leads after 4.
Mojica continues to lead by about 0.4 of a second off into turn 1 here. Bentley Glazer all over the back bumper of the 39 of Daniel Falkingham. Back behind them, you see Ryan Howard being challenged a little bit by Chad Coleman. Tyler Dalton challenging Chad Coleman. That's what I meant to say. Tyler Dalton also going to be challenged now by Brian Macklin down through the short chute into turn 2. Off into the tunnel turn, you see Brian Macklin put that truck to the inside of the 19. We're going to see that first move here, maybe through the tunnel turn by Macklin. He's not going to be able to complete that pass. Going to slide back behind the 19, and now he's going to come under attack by Mike Kelly into turn 3. Macklin's going to roll that second line, though, really well. That's going to give him a good run down the front stretch. He's going to pull to the inside, down the front stretch, maybe on that 19. Here he comes. He got right up under that back bumper. Off into turn 1 will Brian Macklin try to take that 6th position away.
Macklin took the air off that 19 as Dalton felt the air moving around as Macklin was moving it. Now we're seeing some guys getting a few out of line. It looks like Falkingham has dropped off and he's falling back as that Glazer truck got around him, and now Falkingham is falling back almost to 4th now as he's under attack from that 33 of Howard, but he'll regain his composure and get back in line and try to reel back in that 18 of Bentley Glazer. As Glazer, you see, just trying to suck up the back bumper of that 58 of Mojica. Mojica with breathing room right now, about a truck length and a half, and that's going to close up a little bit now as Glazer now getting a sniff off that 58.
Yeah, Bentley Glazer getting a big sniff off that 58 down the front stretch, looking to make that move maybe to the inside within the next couple of laps, get himself a bonus point. Falkingham wants that 2nd spot back, but Daniel Falkingham's one of the better drivers in the field at being relaxed, letting the track come to him and not ruining his tires. 10 laps in as Brian Macklin jumps to the outside of Daniel Falkenham. You see that here. Brian Macklin moves up to third. Falkenham back to fourth. Falkenham might be playing the long game, though, Randy Pepper. Could be saving tires, could be saving some fuel here, just trying to make this last as long as possible. Try to split this race into a one-stopper. As you see that 39 down the short chute, but the 30 into the wall between turns 2 and 3 there. The 30 going to have a little bit of right side damage. That happens more often than you think here at the Pocono Raceway. Going down the backstretch, the second backstretch, the little short chute between turns 2 and 3, it can get away from you a little bit. You can think the truck's a little not as wide as it normally is. The track might be a little wider, you think. You just touch that wall, but we have a battle for the lead in a 1.
Glazer drives to the bottom of the track to get around Mojica. So Mojica will have to settle back into second. Mojica nearly got his position taken second. Now he's under attack again as Macklin now dives the inside of Mojica. Mojica, who was leading from the drop of the green flag, now is falling back possibly to third, and he will fall back to third. So maybe his truck is not handling the same it was on the drop of the green flag, as now it is Bentley Glazer leading into turn number 3. As they go into turn number 3, Glazer pulls it to the bottom of the line. He'll let it drift off the turn and down the front straightaway. Glazer is going to lead on lap number 8.
Bentley Glazer, that all-important bonus point here. We'll show you something really quick. This is what the current, this is what's going to be great about this, Randy. I can show you guys this in live time throughout the race. This is what happens throughout the evening. You can see Bentley Glazer and Pedro Mojica with the extra bonus point now, ahead of the rest of the drivers in the chase currently. Doesn't mean much right now. It might mean something in 52 laps if Bentley can lead the most laps and get that win. Max points is 53. Don't forget that, Randy Pepper.
53. It's a big number. Glazer taking him down the back straightaway, down to turn number 2. Leading by 4 truck lengths over that 30 of Macklin. He'll fall off the turn and drift up towards the wall and back to the straight line down and to the line. Glazer is leading after 9. It's Glazer, Macklin, Mojica, Falkingham, and Coleman.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to miss a second of the action as we go side by side here in the Ghost Fire Media Network, while we bring you a message from our sponsors.
Transervice has been a leader in the transportation and fleet maintenance industry for over 50 years. If you're a professional driver or technician looking for opportunities to be the best and work with the best, then we want you working at Transervice. Our current workforce includes over 1,000 drivers and technicians, managing over 24,000 pieces of equipment in over 120 regional and local facilities across North America and Puerto Rico, and we're getting larger all the time. Our corporate philosophy of trust, respect, and honesty has led to employees that have spent their entire career with Transervice. As with our employees, we have many customer relationships exceeding 20 years. You'll have the opportunity to learn and grow professionally in an environment that values and rewards excellence, with a variety of perks such as education support, recognition awards, career advancement opportunities, and more. A great work-life balance, a company built on values, recognition, and rewards for excellence. While our competitors offer jobs, Transervice offers you a career, not just a job. Contact us today.
If recent storms have caused damage to your property, contact 811 before you begin your cleanup. Buried utilities around uprooted trees can make a bad situation worse if those lines are not located before digging. Electric, natural gas, and internet lines are everywhere, and knowing where they are is the safest way to start any digging project. Call North Carolina 811 by dialing 811 or by using single address ticket on nc811.org or the NC811 app.
Back at Pocono International Raceway. Here we are, Ghostfire Media Network. Randy Pepper alongside Nick Adams. We've got a barn burner starting to shape up now with our fourth place runner, Daniel Falkingham. He's got Chad Coleman all over the back end, as well as Mike Kelly, Tyler Dalton, and Hamish Gallagher. As well as he's got the Rhinestone Cowboy holding down the 10th position. That's Glenn Campbell. A couple guys I've looked at here that I'm kind of surprised at is Justin Fuller, for one. Running 11th right now. Justin usually is a lot more consistent and towards more the front position, or towards the front of the field. Another guy, we were just talking about this on the break, Joey Katina is running 25th right now. Surprise to you and to me. When you say there, Nick?
Yeah, it's very much a surprise to me. I didn't expect to see that. Well, you see the battle right now. Give me 1 second here. I don't know why it's showing the battle for first. There we go. Pedro Mojica, Daniel. There we go. Battle for fourth. Let's go ahead and show you a better camera angle here. That battle for fourth between Falkenham, Coleman, and Howard is beginning to heat up just a wee little bit.
He's got definitely got a line of people behind him.
He does. That's shocking to me how big of a train Daniel Falkenham has created here. But Mike Kelly in the 2, he takes to the inside of Ryan Howard. Can he take that spot away?
You wonder if the draft is, strong enough for like 3 trucks to get in line. Can they catch the other trucks to get around? I don't believe so, but I think they're looking to see if they can.
I mean, there's always the possibility that you might be fast enough in that draft to catch the drivers ahead of you. But the current issue you would have would be, I don't think the trucks are handling quite well enough for that to be of any factor.
Yeah, especially after 16 laps. Tires have definitely starting to fade away for sure. You can see some of these trucks starting to bobble just a little bit in some of the turns. You see this whole pack of trucks here. You've got basically 3 or 4 different sections of trucks that are battling. You've got this good battle here for Falkingham back to Glenn Campbell. And then further back, actually Fuller's in this as well, but further back you've got, the Yoakum, Montesi, Benefield, all those guys are battling back there in a whole nother group. So you got several little groups of trucks that are fighting right now. As you see the 33 of Howard trying to make something happen alongside of Coleman. And we'll watch this battle as they come down the front straightaway into turn number 1.
I want to correct something I said earlier in the broadcast here. The maximum points for an evening is actually 45. 53 was during the regular season. It's 45 in the playoffs. Still, 45 is a massive amount of points. You see the 33 of Ryan Howard was not able to make that pass complete. And the 38. The 38 of Chad Coleman holds steady in 5th position here. Down the short shoots between turns 2 and 3. The 19 of Tyler Dalton looks to the outside of Mike Kelly off into turn 3 here. Tyler Dalton 17 laps in trying to make that outside roll on Mike Kelly through turn 3. Down the front stretch here, the long front stretch. Woo, Tyler Dalton almost taps the wall on the exit. Down the front stretch they come, side by side, a Chevy versus a Ford.
And you see that where the truck got loose. That's where I'm talking about these tires. These tires are definitely starting to show some wear. It's going to make the truck get a little loosey-goosey. And that's exactly what you're seeing. Tyler Dalton tried to get around the number 2 of Kelly. It didn't work on the outside. Now he's going to try the inside. They're side by side. They're going to try to make it through turn number 2. This is where you don't want to be loose. You pull it to the very bottom of the track.
Oh, he got tight there. Big tight on the exit. He's going to slide up. He's going to hold those trucks up behind him. The 22 of Hamish Gallagher stayed behind him. He's going to lose a spot to Glenn Campbell. Glenn Campbell's going to throw it into 3. Glenn Campbell and Justin Fuller throw it off into turn 3. They're 3 wide now on the exit of turn 3. Glenn Campbell got tight. Justin Fuller got tight. Hamish Gallagher stayed behind Tyler Dalton, went from 9th to almost 11th. Glenn Campbell comes out on top there, but that was almost disaster for Tyler Dalton and Hamish Gallagher.
That was almost disaster for all 3 of those trucks, actually 4 trucks, and actually remarkable driving to stay off of each other. I will say that. So as they make their way down the back straightaway into turn number 2, Dalton holding these 3 other trucks behind him. Fuller, as I talked about earlier, I was kind of surprised he was back a little ways. He's starting to show some strength in that 51. But he's wise to stay behind Glenn Campbell, who's trying to get around Dalton now. Glenn Campbell is actually having a really good run tonight so far. Hopefully I don't jinx him. Running in that 9th position and taking him across the line after 20 laps. It's still Glazer out front in the rolling truck.
It is, but Hamish Gallagher is all over that back bumper of the 44 in front of him. Hamish Gallagher doing everything he can to get on the back bumper of that 44 and make that pass, put himself in a good position to get around Tyler Dalton, maybe on the pit stops. But Randy, you're already seeing it. Some of these guys in the chase versus these guys that aren't in the chase. Glenn Campbell went to the inside. Hamish Gallagher said, "You have it. I'm not going to battle you here. I'm thinking about points. I'm thinking about the round of 12. I'm thinking about a championship."
Yeah, I think a lot of these guys are thinking of the big picture, not the little picture. The little picture would be just, finishing in the top 10 tonight. Yeah, they're thinking about, I want to be in the top 5. I want something better than just hanging out back here, but I can't make it if I start racing with these guys that are just trying to get to a win.
Yeah,
which
a lot
would
of
be
these
Macklin
guys.
and Campbell. I mean, those are the 2 guys that we're watching right now. It's Macklin and Campbell, who have nothing to lose.
Yeah, they're moving. And speaking of Brian Macklin is beginning to reel in our leader, Bentley Glazier. Bentley Glazier has 1 bonus point locked up, trying to lock up that second one, trying to lead the most laps. Brian Macklin is saying, "Hey, I didn't make the chase. That doesn't mean I can't win all 10 races."
Yeah, can you imagine that? We have Macklin come out here. He wins tonight. Didn't make the chase. How frustrating it must have been for him to not make the chase. And if he was to win tonight, he'd miss it by one race. If he'd won last week, it would have been a whole different story. And then first race in the chase, he wins. I think that would be frustrating to me.
I'd be frustrated if I was the 30, but I think the 30 might be frustrated, which is why he's coming out here tonight at Pocono, trying to win this race this evening. He's also trying to show that, hey, listen, this year might not have been my year, but there's always next year. And the 30 of Brian Macklin to the inside into the tunnel turn. Bentley Glazer going to say, go on by. Here you go. Sayonara. The 30 of Brian Macklin to the lead. Will Glazer cycle into third, or will he be able to keep that truck in second is now the question.
I would say he's going to probably be able to hold on for at least a couple more laps as we see Mojica starting to regain his composure and try to track down that number 18. And he may bring that 39 with him as well, because that 39 is all over the back bumper of the 58 as well. So we'll just see. We're only 23 laps into this thing. We'll be 24 this time when they come around the stripe. 60 laps will make up tonight's race. So we'll be 3/4 of the way through, or actually 25% of the 60.
We're almost halfway, Randy. Are you okay?
Actually, yeah, I know. I'm looking at this. I'm thinking 90. I transposed the 6 and turned it upside down.
It's okay. Brian Macklin leads off into turn 3. He's going to exit turn 3. Before we get into green flag pit stops, folks, we'll be right back here on the Ghost Fire Media Network.
If recent storms have caused damage to your property, contact 811 before you begin your cleanup. Buried utilities around uprooted trees can make a bad situation worse if those lines are not located before digging. Electric, natural gas, and internet lines are everywhere, and knowing where they are is the safest way to start any digging project. Call North Carolina 811 by dialing 811 or by using single address ticket on nc811.org or the NC811 app.
Transervice has been a leader in the transportation and fleet maintenance industry for over 50 years. If you're a professional driver or technician looking for opportunities to be the best and work with the best, then we want you working at Transervice. Our current workforce includes over 1,000 drivers and technicians, managing over 24,000 pieces of equipment in over 120 regional and local facilities across North America and Puerto Rico, and we're getting larger all the time. Our corporate philosophy of trust, respect, and honesty has led to employees that have spent their entire career with Transervice. As with our employees, we have many customer relationships exceeding 20 years. You'll have the opportunity to learn and grow professionally in an environment that values and rewards excellence, with a variety of perks such as education support, recognition awards, career advancement opportunities, and more. A great work-life balance, a company built on values, recognition, and rewards for excellence. While our competitors offer jobs, Transervice offers you a career, not just a job. Contact us today.
Back here on the Ghost Fire Media Network at Pocono Raceway, Brian Macklin, your leader. Daniel Falkenham up his trumpet. Pedro Mojica in third. Chad Coleman fourth. Bentley Glazer, your first driver to pit this evening. The rest of these guys trying to make it on one pit stop. Trying to get it to 30 laps complete before they come down pit road. We'll see if they can stretch their fuel another 6 laps, Randy. That's going to be key here tonight. Fuel strategy, always something to think about here at Pocono. It's how Dale Jr. won 2 races here. It's how Jeff Gordon won 3 races. It's a very intense racetrack for fuel mileage.
Yes, it is. And since we've been away, one driver has found his mojo back. That's Daniel Falkenham, who had fallen to almost 4th at one point. Now he's all the way up to 2nd once again and trying to reel in Brian Macklin. Macklin leads over Falkenham by 2 truck lengths. Then it's another 2 back to Mojica, who led early on. Macklin brings it across the line for lap 27, and we'll probably see pit stops here shortly as we'll watch our leaders to see who's going to be the first taker out of these guys. We saw short pittings happening during the break, but now it's Macklin leading the field, at least this 10-truck breakaway, as we see now. As we see one truck jumping out of line back there.
It's the 2 of Mike Kelly.
Mike Kelly.
Making moves, trying to get himself up there in the spots. He's up to 5th right now is Mike Kelly. Daniel Fockenham, maybe Daniel's just trying to get that extra bonus point for leading a lap here. He might stay out 1 lap longer. That might be something you see a couple of these guys do. Try to think about pointing their way through things, trying to think about that extra bonus point of leading a lap. We'll see if that happens as these pit stops occur. But Daniel Fockenham, Chad Coleman, big loose out of turn 3. But Daniel Fockenham's been one of the only drivers here so far who's stuck in the draft and has really barely ever been full throttle here at Pocono so far this evening. So he's going to get the best fuel mileage out of anybody. And that might be why Bentley Glazier had to pit. Let's think about that. Bentley Glazier had to pit early. He is back now a lap down, almost a lap down, 33 seconds back. He's, destroying them on the lap times. But here's the thing. Bentley's by himself running full throttle. That's the same thing he was doing at the lead. He was running full throttle. He had to pit early. I don't think he could make it from the end on lap 24, running full throttle the next 36 laps.
Yeah, so he's burning up his tires as he's running away in lap times. So I don't know how well that's going to help him for a while there. But we see Macklin still holding off Falkingham. It's actually stretched out. It's about 3 truck lengths over Falkingham that time by. Mike Kelly is now looking to try to get 4th, but he will not make anything happen that time. He's tucks back in line. Macklin. Actually, now the lead shrinks as you see Falkingham looking to the outside. He looks to the inside. Keeping that door down to the bottom of the track. He's looking to see if maybe he can get something working as they get down into turn number 2. Macklin drifts high. Falkingham keeps it to the bottom of the track. He's going to lead the train, as we say the train, as we see Hamish Gallagher back there falling a little farther back in that 22. He was running really well earlier on, and it looks like maybe these top 5 trucks or 6 trucks are actually pulling away from that second pack here after 30 laps.
Yeah, these top 6, 7 trucks are pulling away from that second pack just a little bit. Tyler Dalton, Glenn Campbell, Hamish Gallagher sitting there 7th, 8th, 9th, just kind of driving around. But the thing is that these guys have now made it to halfway. So these drivers right now in this pack are showing they can make it the rest of the way on 1 tank of fuel now. Randy, it's been 30 laps. 27 minutes has taken these drivers to do 30 laps. This is going to be a quick one as long as they have no cautions.
As long as they stay out of trouble, this one will be over before we know it. This one might actually make it to my bedtime.
Your bedtime's 8:45. We've already passed that.
That's true. That's true. 8:45 is my bedtime because I'm an old man. This is the way it works when you get old. Get off my land.
Get off my lawn, you old damn kids, you sons of bitches.
I don't care.
And we have some drivers pitting. Here comes Mike Kelly down. Start from out of turn 3. Behind him, you're going to see the number 23, Derek Myers. I don't know if Derek was speeding on the entrance to pit road. We'll keep an eye on that. They're the 2 guys.
Derek Myers
Ron
was
Holyfield.
the last second guy.
Ron Holyfield, he comes in. Joey Gattina, Charles Woods. Joey Gattina back in 21st, our lowest in the field. For the playoff guys, we'll keep an eye on him as the evening goes along. Joey's going to have a small ditch to dig himself out of in 2 weeks at Bristol.
That's when you start thinking, I've got to win a race. I have to win a race. There's nothing I can do when you start falling back that far.
Yeah, you have to win, and you have to do really well at Auto Club. If you have 2 bad weeks, the first 2 out of 3 weeks here in the playoffs, you know, it's kind of out of reach.
Falkingham running in outside line. Macklin running in down to the pits.
Brian Macklin, he's 100. He is speeding. He had to be speeding. He had to be speeding. We're going to keep an eye on Brian Macklin here. Glenn Campbell, Mike Montesi, Scott Simley, Justin Fuller all in. Daniel Fockingham will get a bonus point for leading a lap. We haven't focused on that much this year, but those bonus points are what's going to get you through
How many of those, I wonder, did Falkingham actually collect during the regular season?
Bonus point? I'd have to go back and look, but he's
Yeah,
over. I think he has 200, almost 150 or something like that.
And it had to be a lot because he led a lot of laps.
Brian Macklin was not speeding. Good for him. It's a good thing for Brian Macklin. Now we take a look. Daniel Falkenham, Pedro Mahika, Chad Coleman, Ryan Howard, Tyler Dalton, Hamish Gallagher, Richard Beasley. And here it is. Here's the big train. And Falkingham on the brakes. Chad Coleman might have been speeding. We'll keep an eye on this pack. This might be the pack where we get one of those speeders because they were coming in hot.
Yeah, Coleman, if he wasn't speeding, it's a miracle.
If he wasn't speeding, he should be counting his lucky stars. Because right now is not one of the times you want to make a mistake. Not in race number 1. Everybody hits their box perfect. The 33, Ryan Howard had to back up. Ryan Howard had to back up there. That's going to affect him on the exit of pit road. Hamish Gallagher gets a bonus point for leading a lap. Now he comes into the pits.
Oh, look at this.
And none of them, but look at that. Chad Coleman's going to take the second spot away. Brian Macklin retakes the lead. Mike Kelly out there, he pit on lap 30. Mike Kelly actually comes out in third. Brian Macklin fourth. Bentley Glazier in second. Hamish Gallagher. Bentley Glazier will come around to be your leader here. Hamish Gallagher, though, he's going to be your man.
Hamish all by himself.
Hamish is in the pits currently. You see
Yeah,
Bentley
he's in
Glazier,
the pits, but all
Mike
by
Kelly,
himself.
about 10 seconds back from the leader. Brian Macklin another second and a half back from Mike Kelly. Mike Kelly had a fantastic entry and exit to pit lane. That's what got him the second spot here currently on the racetrack. You see Hamish Gallagher in the pit lane now. 4 tires fuel. He's going to fall back, but he's going to have the sleekest tires on the racetrack. But also, now, Randy Pepper. Hamish Gallagher gets himself a bonus point.
Yes, I see that. Bentley Glazier way out in front right now. 10 seconds. Taking that rolling truck around. Takes it to the bottom of the track all by himself. He's running the Eric Carmen.
He's also
line
not
tonight.
far from collecting that second bonus point. Locking up the leading of the most laps. Bentley Glazier not far from that either. And he's got a 10-second lead on the rest of the field. But here's the thing, Randy Pepper. Bentley Glazier is going to put himself in a hole going into Bristol next week unless we have a caution. Because he pitted 11 laps ago. 11 laps ago. There's no way he makes it to lap 60 being by himself without the draft.
Absolutely, because you can already see the number 2 truck of Kelly slowly but surely reeling him in. Those 11 laps of tires are definitely going to make a difference, and you see it. If you watch our scoreboard, you can see every single tick that's happening as Kelly is definitely coming.
Yeah, Mike Kelly is on his way. We'll take a look here. What we're going to do is we're actually going to compare their lap times. Give us 1 second. Boom. You see Mike Kelly 0.8 of a second faster the last lap, 0.7 the lap before that, 0.8 the lap before that. What will it be here on lap 35? With 25 to go here at the Pocono Raceway. Probably another second almost Mike Kelly's going to pull out on Bentley Glazier. It'll be 0.7 of a second there. Yeah, it's a huge change there. 0.7 is massive here at the Pocono Raceway.
Want to do any predictions on what lap Mike Kelly catches him?
I'm going to say 50.
50, lap 50.
Another 15 laps. Maybe close to maybe 45. Maybe another 10 laps.
I think you're closer at 10. The way he's coming, I'm going to say 10, 11 laps.
Yeah. Well, about 15 to go when he catches him. By that time, though, Bentley Glazier will lock up that second bonus point for most laps led on the evening. That's going to help him. But what's not going to help him is his finishing position.
Well, that's all to be seen.
But we haven't talked about this, Randy. Look who's in second. Look who's coming.
Kelly.
Look who's in second. We talked about this. Mike Kelly had to come out here at the beginning of the playoffs and make a statement. 24 to go. Still a long way to go in this race. But Mike Kelly's making a statement. He's making a
Does that mean
statement.
I can call him Mikey again?
No. No, we don't reference that league anymore.
No, we definitely don't.
Here in the Transervice Truck Series, it actually is Friends Racing Friends.
It's true. Absolutely. Oh, boy, that was a dig. That was a dig. You have to. People have to look that up on the interweb and check that out.
No idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Good old-fashioned commentate. No idea what you mean.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
You know we haven't
Glazer
seen
now
yet
is only
tonight.
7.
We haven't
it's
seen
less-
anybody go into turn 3 and completely miss the turn, almost take somebody out in front of them. That's something we haven't seen. Very proud of that.
Turn 2, not turn 3.
Oh, turn 2.
Not turn
My
3.
mistake.
Yeah. You know, actually, if you look at Pocono, you can almost mistake this thing for a 5-turn racetrack.
Can you? Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Well, we have a couple of seconds here. Maybe. All right. Take a look from the sky cam here as you see these guys go through the tunnel turn. Oh, behind him, what's going on back here? We got trucks slowing down all over the place.
You jinxed them.
Oh, my God. Ryan Howard got caught behind a lapper. The 34 of Tanner Speakman. Oh, my goodness. Ryan Howard through the tunnel turn almost went through the back of that number 34 of Tanner Speakman. My goodness gracious.
I wouldn't want to be listening to his words right now.
My God. Speaking of words, Randy Pepper, you know what we're going to do? We're going to crank it up.
All right. And then we'll come back and we'll listen to, we'll talk about the 5 turns.
And Randy Pepper, let's talk about the 5 turns here at the Pocono race. We're going to go on board the number 30 of Brian Macklin as he tries to pass the 2 of Mike Kelly. We're looking through the front end here. Right through that beautiful roll. Let's see if we get a better photo here. How do we go off the camera, Randy?
That looks good.
Turn
Okay,
3.
good. That's one. That's one. I'll be straight here. This would be 2.
Any other racetrack, that's turns 3 and 4. Here it's 3 and 4 and 5.
Yeah, 3 and 5. So we'll go down here and go down the front straight away. Long straight away. You can see the cones on the side giving you the marks. This would be turn 1.
And right
Straight
there,
over. And then turn 2.
every other racetrack, that's how that would come out. Not here in
Correct.
Pocono.
It's 3.
You say there's 5 corners at Pocono, they go last year. They might hang you by your toes if you say there's 5 corners at Pocono in Pennsylvania.
Now, the only distinctive turn is really turn 2 because it is the only turn by itself. The rest of these turns actually kind of lead themselves into 1 and 2, 3 and 4.
And you can see here, we'll go on board. The big run this time by Ryan Macklin right here, the number 30, Toyota Tundra. On Mike Kelly.
You see the lead. You see Glazer way up there.
There it is. Pass complete. Ryan Macklin into second. Bentley Glazer 5 laps away from completing the second bonus point of the evening for Bentley Glazer, which will be most laps led. thing is, even if these guys start battling behind him, he's not going to have enough fuel to make it to the end. The driver in the best position inside the top 5 to make it to the final lap of this race, Daniel Faulkner. He has 2 extra laps of fuel with all these guys up here. Besides Bentley Glazier, he has 8 laps more fuel than Bentley Glazier.
Well, we know they can go 30 laps, and they did fit after lap 30.
Well, we do know that, but there's also different circumstances. You have to push it more, especially in these last 10 laps. You have to push it more, using more throttle, not caring so much about fuel conservation. If you know you can make it, if you're concerned about making it, fuel conservation is going to cost you a race.
True. Look at this. Well, Falkingham's coming, but look at them coming, how close they are now in Glazier.
Yeah, Bentley Glazier, you were in your area code all by your onesies. You're no longer in that singular area code. Take a look behind you. That's how close they are, everybody. They're about 2.5 seconds back, 18 to go. They're going to catch them right around what I said, 15 laps to go. About lap 45.
Moving around him. That's going to be the thing. How long is it going to take them to get around him? Are they just going to blow by him, or are they going to kind of ride with him forward? 2 back behind the leader now. Glazier leading. Macklin, Kelly, Falkingham, Mojica, Coleman, Myers, Campbell, Dalton, Howard. Make up your top 10. And this is one of the most surprising things right now. Fuller is running in the 17th right there with Joey Katina.
Yeah, Justin Fuller has not had a good second half of this race. He didn't have a good first half of the race either, but he didn't have a good second half of the race for sure. Joey and Justin, 17th and 18th. Those 2 drivers are going to have a tough time getting out of the round of 16 if that's the type of performance they're going to put in. Richard Beasley sitting back in 14th. Now, normally, I would say 14th's a good spot. But when you got the round of 18 and you're only going to get 12 guys through, 6 guys got to go. And look at this right now, the top 12. Well, right now, the top 12 drivers on track that are playoff drivers, Glazier, Kelly, Falkenham, Mojica, Coleman, Myers. That's your top 6. Dalton, Howard, Gallagher, Simmons, Beasley, Fuller would be your top 12. Joey Katina is the man on the outside here, getting himself enough points to stay in the top 12. He's got to get around that 51. And right now on track, he's doing his best to do just that.
He's working, he's trying to make it happen. Sitting back behind Fuller, just 2 truck lengths back, 16 laps remain in the race. And he dives to the inside. He's going to make that move side by side to get around Fuller. He'll dive to the bottom of the track and will make the pass, so Fuller will fall back inside outside. Well, Fuller didn't make it happen, but he tried.
He's up his bumper, though. He's all up his bumper down the short chute. Look at him into turn 3. He's pushing him off into 3.
He's giving him the tip.
That's when you know somebody. The 51 has some damage. The right front's been in the wall. The back bumper's been lifted up. He's got damage. He's not as fast as he should be. He knows that. The only way he can stay ahead of Joey Katina is by honestly pushing as hard as he can and making the driver in front of him make mistakes.
It looks like he's going to lose another position.
He is. He's going to lose the 20th position, maybe. No, I'm sorry, that's a lapper. That is a lapper. That truck does not count. No, that does count. John Mustard Jr. in the double zero. That is John Mustard. Yes. He's into 18th. Justin Fuller back to 19th now. And Justin Fuller falling like a rock.
Justin Fuller's going to have to make his name be known in these next two races. He's going to have to really push it.
He is. Now we look back up front. Brian Macklin to the inside. The 30 to the lead in turn 1. Look who's in second. Look who's going for the lead in turn 1. Daniel Falkenham from the 3rd lane to the 1st lane. Mike Kelly's going to give the 30 a push down the short chute. Falkenham might end up losing spots here. Falkenham side by side with the 2 now. He's back up there with the 30 into the tunnel turn. The 30's going to send it on the outside. Will Macklin make the corner? He will. Macklin to the lead. Falkenham to second. Bentley Glazer back to fifth.
And you see,
He's back to sixth now.
wow, Macklin is not ready to give that lead away. Macklin wants to send a statement to everyone that I may have not been in the playoffs, but I should have been. And Falkenham has another agenda in saying, hey, I led the most amount of races and everything else during the regular
To
season.
the lead, the 39.
Yep, there he goes.
Falkenham was sitting here going, man, all these guys are getting bonus points. I need to go get myself one.
He got one, didn't he
He
already?
led earlier. He led earlier, yes.
Yeah, one lap.
Oh, he's sitting here going, I need to go out here and take this lead and maybe go take this win away.
Yeah, I think that's what he was thinking.
Dan, do not count Daniel Falkenham out. I know me and
we
Randy
never
have been
can.
talking about him for the last 6 weeks of peaking too early. Peaking too early this, peaking too early that. Listen, at the end of the day, what the press says is just that, what the press says. It's about what the driver does. And the driver, Daniel Falkenham, has won 5 races this year for a reason.
Yep.
Justin Fuller back there in 20th has won 3. Trey Eidson, who currently, I thought I saw him qualify.
I thought he was here, I thought.
Trey Eidson is not here. I thought Trey Eidson was here, so Trey Eidson misses this evening as well. That could cost him a berth in the next round of the playoffs.
Wow.
Well, Randy, he
So
was
he's in
my
fourth
surprise. He was my surprise 6th pick. So maybe I was right. Mike Kelly in 4th got a little sideways, a little slideways out of turn 1 there. Into the tunnel turn here. Correction, turn 3 here. That tunnel turn can catch you out when those tires start to get old, Randy Pepper. That might almost happen to Mike Kelly, but a good save there is going to keep him in 4th. Mike Kelly started 7th. He sits in 4th, but Derek Myers, our mover shaker of the race, back from 24th on the grid, currently 6th with 11 to go. Heck of a drive for Derek Myers. A good recovery, and it's exactly what you need in the playoffs. You need to step up and have these types of drives. Derek Myers doing that here at Pocono.
Yeah, I mean, a tremendous run in that 23rd car tonight. Transervice truck. And Bentley Glazer, who was leading here for a long time all by himself, has fallen all the way back to 10th.
Yeah, Bentley's going to fall further back as well with those tires.
Yeah, he's 11 laps to go.
Don't forget, though, look who's leading the race. The regular season champion, Daniel Falkenham, out of turn 3, down the long straightaway. Here's just a long pond straightaway, what they call it?
I believe you are correct
Down
on
the
that.
long pond straightaway into turn 1. It's a mile down that front straightaway.
Yes, 1 mile. Daniel Falkenham leads from Jonesport, South Africa. I believe that's where he's from.
South Carolina.
Oh, South Carolina, but there is a Jonesport, South Africa.
Yeah, Daniel Falkenham, your regular season champion. You need to cash in on those. Cash in on that here early in the playoffs. Pedro Mojica moves himself in a second. Mojica's not done with Daniel Falkenham. Mojica gets past Macklin. If he can hold that second spot into the tunnel, through the tunnel turn into turn 3, we might have a driver who can go take this from Falkenham. Mojica peaked at the right time this year. Mike Kelly in the 3rd. Is Mike Kelly peaking at the right time?
Yeah, he might be. Mike Kelly showing some strength here
9 to go.
as he's trying to redeem himself. We might have to change his name from Mr. Consistent to the Redeemer.
Where did he come from? I can't wait to be able to say that. Chad Coleman to the inside. Coleman! He almost got to the back bumper of Kelly. He gets off the throttle big time in turn 1, but he's on the inside of Brian Macklin through turn 1. Down the short chute to the tunnel turn. That 38 Toyota on the inside of the number 30 Navy Toyota. Into the tunnel turn here on the backstretch of Pocono. The A-Shock Energy Machine is going to get around that Navy machine. Is he going to be able to hold him off the inside?
Uh-oh.
Over under there, Chad Coleman was not able to be passed back by Brian Macklin. Brian Macklin holds it in 5th right now. Chad Coleman holds the 4th spot.
If you look at the time between Falkingham and Mojica, it is sitting at 1.24, 1.23, and it's holding steady right now. Although right now Mojica got a better run there. He's 1.8.
We'll keep an eye on that battle for the lead for you, but the most interesting battle on the track right now is this battle for 5th between Chad Coleman and Brian Macklin. It's going to heat back up into the tunnel turn. Is Macklin going to dive to the inside? Not this time. He's going to put the pressure on the 38. Maybe try to get a better exit through the tunnel. He's going to slide way up and pound that outside wall.
Oh,
Brian Macklin down the inside. He's going to spin back across the track. Maybe he's not. He's going to keep it straight. But Brian Macklin, heartbreak in Pennsylvania here tonight. He's like the Penn State football team. He thought he had a good game going, and then all of a sudden he blew it in the 4th quarter. Brian Macklin, like Navy's football team, going back to the dressing room. Not going to have a win here tonight.
Tough break. He had run such a great race this whole time, and now it's Heartbreak Hotel for sure.
It's Penn State football.
Probably doesn't even like Penn State.
The Heartbreak Factory isn't far from Pocono, Pennsylvania, so don't worry about it. Any of you who are Penn State football fans know that joke.
Yeah, I don't know that joke. I really don't. I don't really care about Penn State football. The only thing good out of Penn State was Dan Marino, who went on to be one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time for the Miami Dolphins. No.
Choke artist.
No.
Mike Kelly, 0.3 of a second behind Pedro Mojica. Pedro had to get out around that lapper in the 1. That's what stopped him from gaining on Falkingham.
Yeah, that hurt him.
Kelly trying to take that position away from Pedro Mojica, though. Mike Kelly, Mr. Consistency in the Winter Series, Mr. Consistency the first 5 weeks of this series. He fell off the face of the earth the last few weeks, last about 10 weeks. But now the playoffs are here, and Mr. Playoffs Mike Kelly is here to play into turn 3. He's pulling up on the back bumper of Pedro Mojica.
Yes, and it's kind of funny that he's actually pulling up on Mojica, because Mojica earned the crown of Mr. Consistency in the second half of the season. So we've got the 2 most consistent drivers in the Transervice Truck Series right here, Mojica and Kelly.
It's consistent performances will win you championships. And right now, Pedro Mojica is saying, I just need to get this. I just want second. I want to stay in second. Mike Kelly, big loose on the exit of turn 1 there. Down the short chute between 1 and 2 into the tunnel turn. Will Mike Kelly be able to make a move here on Pedro for the second position in the next 5 laps? Or will Chad Coleman, who's catching both these drivers, make a move on both of them and go from 4th to 2nd before the end of this race? 5 laps to go, Randy Pepper. About 10 miles around this beautiful racetrack located in Pocono, Pennsylvania.
Mountains.
You know, Randy, the pit road here at Pocono has some huge bumps. Massive bumps. So large are the bumps, in fact, if you took the shocks off the front of the car, it would just jump up in the air going down the pit lane. But Chad Coleman, big run on Mike Kelly into turn 1. Able to roll that 1.5 lane up off the bottom. Mike on that bottom lane. Mike Kelly not able to roll as good as Chad Coleman through 1 into the tunnel turn. Will Chad Coleman be able to roll into turn 2 here? Mike Kelly rolls the bottom really well through the tunnel turn. Chad Coleman not able to gain too much on him that time, but he is on his way. Chad Coleman did roll the bottom pretty well in 1 last time. Will he be able to roll it better here in turns 3? He's gonna be able to do the cut down a little bit better than Mike Kelly on the exit of 3. Gonna stay off the wall a little bit further. Gonna get that draft. He's now 0.2 of a second behind Mike Kelly. Let's see how much faster he was that lap. He is about a half a tenth faster than Mike Kelly that time. Into 1, though, is where he gained all of his time on the previous lap. Back into turn 1 this time. Will he roll that bottom and a half lane up? And he will. He'll roll that lane way better than Mike Kelly will. Chad Coleman, he is coming for that 3rd position. He wants to take that spot from Mike Kelly. Daniel Falkenham with 3 to go is rolling away with this race, but here comes the move. Chad Coleman to the inside. Mike Kelly tried to block, but he did too late into the tunnel turn. Chad Coleman's going to slide right on through. Mike Kelly's going to go for the over-under on the exit of the tunnel. Here he comes back for him. The crossover move into turn 3. Mike Kelly to the inside. Chad Coleman to the outside into turn 3. Are they going to make it through without contact?
They try side by side as they come off for turn number 3. Coleman on the outside, Kelly on the inside. Kelly will not be able to make the position or make the pass to make the position.
That might be the nail in the coffin for Mike Kelly. He might not get another opportunity to get Chad Coleman. Coleman's better in 1 and 2. He's able to roll that bottom a little bit better than Mike Kelly is. He's able to do that cut down from the line and a half up to the bottom of the racetrack. You'll see the difference here. Mike Kelly not able to roll it as good. He might get the run on the exit of 2 here with that draft. Down the short chute between 1 and 2 between the tunnel turn. You see Chad Coleman moving left and right, trying to break that draft into the tunnel turn. Not this time for Mike Kelly. Not able to make the move on Chad Coleman this time. We still have 2 3/4 miles to go. There's still an entire mile-long front stretch here. We're coming to the white flag this time. Mike Kelly trying to get that 3rd spot back from Chad Coleman. Through turn 3, Mike Kelly going to get a good run on the exit here. He's going to use all that power, all that momentum. He's going to get out of 3. Trying to get something down this mile-long front stretch, the long pond straightaway. Here comes Mike Kelly. He's got to run. He's going to put it down to the inside into 1. The Kodiak Ford to the inside of the A-Shock Toyota. Mike Kelly's going to send it off into 1. And the 38's going to send it on the outside. They're going to come out of turn 1 side by side, heading down the short chute to turn 2. Mike Kelly not able to make that move that time, but he is up the trumpet here. He's right up the back bumper into the tunnel. Will he send it off in the tunnel? Will he wait for 3? Mike Kelly's going to wait for turn 3. He's going to try to get that momentum here. Through the tunnel turn, down the short chute between turns 2 and 3. Mike Kelly's going to try to make the move in the 3. You're going to see him break later than the 38. Put that car to the inside. Chad Coleman's going to shut it down. On of turn 3, Daniel Falkenham won 5 races in the regular season. He's going to start the playoffs off right with a win here at Pocono. Pedro Mojica second.
Hit the wall.
Chad Coleman in 3rd. Mojica killed that race truck on the exit of turn 3, though. Absolutely fantastic start to the playoffs for Daniel Falkenham.
Right where you left off.
The question was for Daniel Falkenham, had he peaked too early? Randy Pepper, the answer to that question is hell no.
There is no peaking. He doesn't peak. He just keeps continuing on.
Oh, and Falkenham gets dumped.
Coleman dumped him.
Falkenham puts it in reverse. He's going to go do his burnouts now. We're going to see if we can get our 3rd place driver, Chad Coleman, up here in the booth as soon as he parks that truck on pit lane. See Chad Coleman right now. What a finish to this race, Randy Pepper. I mean, 60 laps in under an hour, caution-free. These guys here tonight put on a clinic of driving. Fantastic finish there between Mike Kelly and Chad Coleman. The respect, the common courtesy and the respect and the ability to allow that driver in front of you to have piece of track when you know you might be a little bit faster, but just to know, hey, I'm playing the long game. I'm not playing the short game. A championship is on the line. I'm not giving up this early.
No, definitely
And look
not.
who's going to burn it down on the front stretch. The 39, Daniel Falkenham. For the 6th time this year, the January 31st machine is going to burn it to the ground here on the front stretch. And while we're waiting for that, we're going to pull up the 3rd place finisher. Championship contender, Chad Coleman. Chad, it's Nick and Randy in the booth. You got a copy. Yeah. Well, as we look at Daniel Falkenham burning down the front stretch here, at the Pocono Raceway in the January 31st Chevy Silverado. We look back there, and in third place, the A-Shock Energy Toyota Tundra. How did it feel out there tonight? How was Pocono treating you?
It's all right. It was kind of sort of a few mileage race. Like, you had to start the race out like riding a little bit. But then it turned into regular Pocono, you know, where you got to try to keep the right front on it. And this thing was tight. So I killed the right front a little bit. Me and Pedro did, trying to get by a couple of guys. In the end, it worked out. I think Pedro probably had a shot at it. I think I could have maybe finished second, depending on if Pedro would have wrecked Daniel or if Daniel would have wrecked Pedro. That's about it.
All right, well,
Is that what it takes to wreck Daniel? You got to wreck Daniel if you want to win.
With Pedro and Daniel, the role they've been on the last month or two held Daniel for like the last 2 years. So yeah, pretty much. They need to wreck each other.
All right. That's funny. There was a great battle you had there with Mike Kelly there at the end.
Yeah, I got to steal him after the race. I could get right to him, and then his draft with Pedro would kind of pull him away from me a little bit off the corner. He ain't getting in the middle, coming off with break even. So last 5 laps of the race, I tried doing something like that already, and I was shifting. It worked enough for me to get just that little bit of pull off the corner to get a run at it. So, we wound up third instead of fourth.
Hey, good run, man. That's I bet you're excited for Georgia Bulldog football, aren't you there, buddy?
Saturdays gets fun. Go out Saturdays and we're done.
Yeah, there you go. Duck hunting football. Nothing
come
better.
home and watch Georgia lose.
You're so out of line. Come on, you're probably
Hey, listen,
cheering from the ACC football team.
I am, but it's not the ACC football team you think I'm cheering for. Cheering for the worst team in the ACC, okay? Constantly for the last 25 years, I've cheered for the worst team in the ACC. They used to be in the Big East. I don't want to hear it.
Anyways, all right. Great run, Chad. We enjoyed watching the race there at the end with you and Mike Kelly, and we will see you next week. Or actually, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
We will. We'll see you in 2 weeks at Bristol Motor Speedway. Chad, before we send you out of here, is anybody you want to thank?
Just give a shout out to Joey and all the admins at Sim500 for all the leaks and everything we do over here. And think, good job for Daniel winning the race. Pedro finished second. That's kind of the way it goes. And then I got to thank Trey Hudson for painting the car or truck. And that's about it. We'll see y'all in 2 weeks.
See you, man.
Thanks, buddy.
Yep.
All right. We'll pull up the number 58. The second place finisher, Pedro Mojica. Pedro, it's Nick and Randy in the booth. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, good guys. How you guys doing?
We're living the dream. We get to watch you guys do 60 laps in 60 minutes. It was unbelievable. Caution-free at the Pocono Raceway. You come home tonight with a second-place finish here in the first race of the playoffs. A key race for you, my friend. How did it feel out there?
It felt pretty good. Pocono is a fun track. It's a challenging track, so I enjoy racing it. It being 60 laps, though, it put it right there on the edge of making it on one stop. So that first run, I practically clutched the whole time. And then I think we kind of realized probably halfway through that run that, even if you were in the draft, you could make it to halfway. But then we kind of changed our plan to just keep clutching and try to be able to go a lap further than most of the guys that we were battling with during the beginning of the race, so that we had a little bit fresher tires on that last run and be real confident to be able to go hard. But yeah, the setup was it was decent. Got a little tight for me there towards the end of the run, but overall, it was a good, solid, clean race for myself. And I wish I would have done a better job setting up my passes a little bit better there towards the end of the race to try to be a little closer to Daniel and try to give him a run for his money.
It looked like towards the end of the race you were actually reeling in, Daniel. Did the 21 truck, the lapper, actually kind of break your momentum?
I wouldn't necessarily say the lap truck when he was right in front of me hurt me too bad. I mean, honestly, I lost a lot of time just trying to pass Macklin, um, trying to pass. I think it was Derek Myers earlier. I lost some time to Daniel there. I mean, overall, I think yeah, just the battle with Brian. I mean, we're racing hard. He was racing hard. He's trying to hold to every position he can. I think we were like at 10 to go or whatever. So, it's hard race as part of it. I should have done a better job setting up passes off the corner to get around him sooner. Um, and then maybe would have been a little closer. But yeah, I wouldn't say what the 21 truck did was maybe it hurt me a tenth, but I mean at that point it was really tough to gain anything on Daniel. I think we're running about the same lap times every lap after I got into second place.
One other thing, Chad said something interesting. Chad said that if you had caught up there to Daniel, things might have got a little rough between the two of you. Would that have happened when you moved him to get the lead?
I don't think I would move him, but we race really hard. We've had a history of racing each other hard in Sim500. So, but yeah, I mean I mean, racing hard like that, he's never wrecked me. So like I wouldn't do that to him. I'd race him hard, but I wouldn't do that to him. I guess you'd say we would just race hard. I wish I had the chance to race him. It would have been fun to make him sweat a little bit. But hey, yeah, if I was up there, I wouldn't have moved him or anything.
We watched the replay just now of you slamming the wall in the last lap. What happened there?
I was pretty much just go all bonsai. It felt decent. It was a little tight, but I was like, I mean, hold my foot to the floor and see what happens and just plow the wall down. I mean, that last lap, I about plowed the wall down coming out of the tunnel turn. So that probably made the right front angry and was overheated, and so turn 3 wasn't any better. So at that point I just said, screw it, what do we got to lose, because I probably won't lose second. so yeah, it was just for fun deal.
Well, congratulations on second place finish, and want to thank anybody on your run tonight?
Yeah, you guys at Ghost Fire Media, I appreciate you guys putting on the broadcast. Hopefully we put on a good show for you and the fans. The admins at Sim500, I appreciate them putting on this series. It's a lot of fun to run. A lot of competitive guys run here. So if anybody's watching, you're looking for a league, this is a fun league to be a part of, in my opinion. So appreciate those guys. Transervice for sponsoring the series. Appreciate them being on board the Wednesday series. And then all the guys at Team Name, Chad Coleman, Daniel, and Richard Beasley. We worked really well together today and all the time, really, and we race each other really hard, but we have a lot of fun doing it. So appreciate those guys, and good win to Daniel.
All right, man. We will see you in 2 weeks. Congratulations on a second place finish tonight.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, let's pull up our winner, Daniel Fuckingham. Daniel, it's Nick and Randy up in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir.
It's got to be the way you wanted to start off the playoffs, right?
Absolutely. That's the only way I think we could start off right. And thankfully, usually when it's playoff time, that's usually when we really turn up the heat and stuff. So real glad to kick off the win in the first round, even though wins really don't advance you or anything. It's just all about points and stuff. And without any halfway points, it just makes the points even that much tighter since you don't get the benefit of halfway stuff. So definitely played our race there, having to fuel save a little bit that first run, and it actually gave me, Pedro, and Chad a 1-lap advantage on tires, or 1-lap pressure tires there, and how we were able to cut through the pack, and plus the draft was pretty strong too, so that's why we all stayed together. So glad we could sweep the top 3 spots. We worked really, really good tonight with fuel strategy and stuff. I literally clutched the entire first stage. It was crazy, or the entire first run, so I could have enough to maybe go an extra lap to maybe if I could beat Macklin there with an extra lap of tires, and just have plenty enough fuel to just go as hard as I can. So definitely beneficial there, and thankfully we start out the playoffs right, like you said.
Let me ask you something, Dan. You keep saying clutching. To a person that may be watching this race tonight and they don't understand what clutching is, can you explain to them what clutching actually is?
Yeah, so pretty much going to the corner, pretty much it just kills the engine essentially. Like you have no engine braking, no whatnot. So pretty much shows like when I was the way these corners are and the way the setup was, or just the way the trucks are, I didn't have to use too much brake while engine braking, but I had to use a little bit more just to get the thing to stop. Because like when you engage the clutch, it just like kills the engine and it just allows you to just coast. It just saves fuel because the engine ain't running and stuff. So pretty much that's what your best bet is: save fuel. And plus, just riding behind somebody in the draft was very beneficial, so you didn't have to go like fully wide open and stuff. So we were able to save fuel that way. But that's just an easy way. You don't have to fully shut off the engine. You just push in the clutch and it just shuts off the engine. But as soon as you let out the clutch, the engine just refires itself back up without having to turn it off fully. So just an easier way to save fuel and stuff. And it's definitely kind of hard to do that with a momentum-based track like Pocono. But the way the draft work and stuff, we were able to hold our position and stuff, and just it helped us save a lot of fuel, and we were able to outrun a lot of people on fuel and stuff. So I could have gone a lot further than like when Pedro and Chad pitted, but I wanted to stay with them because the only shot I had at winning the race was to stay in the draft and stuff. Because if I stayed out way too long, then the fresh tires, I probably wouldn't have been able to make up that gap. So we definitely made a good call to pit there when we did, and just had to save enough fuel and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it.
All right. Well, great explanation of how to clutch. So, anyways, congratulations on another win in the Sim500 Transervice Truck Series. And go ahead and rattle off those sponsors so they can get their TV time.
Yeah, of course. Got to thank First Rate Bait, Loft 207, and of course January 31st for all their support. Got to thank Joey and all the admins who run the show. Thanks to everyone who races each and every week. Thanks to Transervice for all they do for the series, for all they've done for Sim500. Got to thank you guys for another broadcast. Thanks to everyone at Team Name, Chad Coleman, Pedro Mojica, Richard Beasley. We all working together well tonight. Glad we get some solid finishes, and us sweeping the top 3 as well. Thanks to my team at North Sports Racing, Preston Gilson, whole crew over there, and all my teammates: Daniel Buttafuoco, Parker White, Tyler Gary, Wyatt Tinsley, Colton Salick. We get ready. We have a big race tomorrow night. 5th race of Road to Pro for the 2nd round. We're above the cut line there, so hopefully we can bring home a decent finish tomorrow night at Darlington. So appreciate all the guys over there for the hard work each every week on the Road to Pro stuff. Thanks to all the fans who watch each every week. Thanks to Cosmins, Plastico Graphics for painting up my truck. Thanks friends and family for watching as well. And yeah, thank you guys again.
I think you rattled them all off for sure. Congratulations on another win. We'll see you in 2 weeks, and good luck tomorrow night.
Appreciate it. You guys have a good Labor Day weekend.
Thanks,
You
Daniel.
too.
All right, we'll send him back down to his team. And Randy, we have a couple of things to go over.
Yes, we do.
So first and foremost, we'll go over where everybody finished tonight, because that's probably the most important thing, right? All right, winner. Daniel Falkenham back in 2nd, going to be Pedro Mojica 3rd, Chad Coleman 4th, Mike Kelly 5th, Derek Myers 6th, Tyler Dalton 7th, going to be Glenn Campbell 8th, Ryan Howard 9th, Hamish Gallagher. In 10th is going to be Scott Simley. In 11th, Mike Montesi. 12th, Richard Beasley. 13th, John Hegman Jr. 14th, John Mustian Jr. To 15th, Joey Cattina. 16th, Gerald Livingston. 17th, Randy Yoakum. 18th, Ron Holyfield. Back in 19th. Why is there a... Back in 19th, we're going to have Stoney Benfield. 20th, Justin Fuller. 21st, Richard Swavely. 22nd, Charles Woods. 23rd, Bentley Glazier. 24th, Ryan Wertman. 25th, Steve Herring. 26th, Ed Burrell. 27th, Gunta B. Tanner Speakman. 28th, Brian Macklin. 29th, going to be Dwight Beverly. Now, the all-important point standings, Randall. Here are your updated point standings going into the 2nd race of the round of 12. I'm going to update those numbers to those drivers that are white in yellow because you can't read that. But your top 12 currently, a 1 point difference between Justin Fuller and Richard Swaverly going into Bristol in 2 weeks at the cutoff spot. The top 12 make the 2nd round. Daniel Falkingham, 24-point lead over 13th. You have a good race at Bristol. You lock yourself in before you get to that 3rd race. That's what you want to do. Falkenham comes out here tonight, Randy. Huge win. Starts the playoffs off right. And he gets that all-important lead early on in the playoffs.
Absolutely. And the crazy thing we're seeing here the bottom guys down there, well, besides Swavely and Glazer, but EJ O'Rourke, Trey Eidson, Josh Parker, Tommy Ryan did not even show up for tonight's race. So automatically, they're at a huge disadvantage of trying to make it to the next round.
You know, it makes life more difficult when you don't show up to the first race. Obviously, life happens, things happen before you can get here, but it just makes life a little bit more difficult when you don't show up for that first race. You see that right there now. A little bit easier for everybody to read those bottom 6 in yellow. We're going to have to keep an eye on them. I mean, that cutoff spot is 12th. And it's going to get tighter and tighter as we get through Bristol and we go into our third race at Auto Club.
I'm not so worried about Fuller, but some of these other guys I am. I'm not saying that I just think Fuller is that much better of a driver. I just think Fuller is more consistent and seems to rattle the wins off quicker. I mean, he had 3 wins during the regular season. There's nothing saying that he can't get a win before the next round.
No, not at all. A quiet night for Tyler Dalton. A very quiet night, but he was able to come home in 6th position, which puts him 6th in the championship standings at 2,038 points. So a very key win for him tonight. Not a win, sorry. A very key top 10 for him. Yeah, Scott Simley, a very quiet night. Sometimes when you get to the playoffs, quiet is better. If we don't talk about you, that means you can just be quietly putting yourself in a good position. He comes home 10th tonight, puts himself in 9th in the playoffs, got himself an 11-point buffer between himself and the cutoff zone. It's a good way to start these playoffs. I mean, Tyler Dalton, Ryan Howard, those are the guys that I was a little bit worried about. I had them in my round of 12, but I was a little bit worried about Tyler with his tires and a little bit worried about Ryan and getting in other people's messes that he doesn't cause. And tonight, at least at Pocono, he was able to stay away from that, keep himself in a safe position. And Tyler didn't destroy his tires tonight. Was able to come home in 6th. It was a really, really good event here at the Pocono Raceway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
all right,
Randy,
so let's get out of here, my friend.
I think we might want to get the heck out of here. They're kicking us out of the booth here at Pocono. Hey, don't come in the booth yet. We're not done yet. You can vacuum in a minute.
Please.
Good God.
Manuel, please, back out, all right?
Mike, hey. Security, get rid of him. This would never happen to Dale Jr. This would never happen at Fox.
No, definitely not.
Only on NBC.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, folks, we are going to shut the door and head out of here as we will vacate the premises and head back to Rayford Prison where they're holding us captive right now. So,
they're making me stay in Pocono. Help.
I'd rather go back to Rayford. At least I get free food. All right, folks, you've been listening to the Sim500 Transervice Truck Series on the Ghostfire Media Network. I'm Randy Pepper. That is Nick Adams. Until 2 weeks, you guys have a great Labor Day. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
We'll see you in a couple weeks, everybody. Bye.
Woo! Thank you for watching iRacing on the Ghostfire Media Network.